Guess who's back? Back again. That's all I know.
Historian! History. Okay, we're good.
Oh
we're
my
good.
God.
It's fine.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name's Liz and you know me as the Disney Historian, and here with my boyfriend Alex, we are going to be introducing you to some of Disney's legends.
So, this little series we're going to do is going to be based around the Disney legends. For those of you that don't know what a Disney legend is, why don't we ask our neighborhood historian? Liz, what is a Disney legend?
I hate you so much. So the Disney Legends is a Hall of Fame program that Disney started back in the 80s to honor people that have made extraordinary contributions to the Disney company, all the way from animation and film to merchandising and resort building and things like that.
In this little sub-series we're going to delve into the Disney legends, what they did, why they were important, why they became legends, and just a little bit of information about them. We hope you enjoy this series, and without further ado, let's get down to some legends. Legends.
So as I said before, the Disney Legends are a Hall of Fame program that Disney started. Originally, the award was given during a private ceremony, but after 2009, they started to award it biannually at the D23 Expo, which usually happens in California.
So wait, what's the D23 Expo?
D23 is the official fan club for Disney, and the expo that happens is where the big announcements for the upcoming year or two will come from. So Toy Story Land was announced at the D23 Expo, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was announced there, and they also have the Disney Legends ceremony every other year. So the recipients are chosen by a very special committee, and the very first committee which was assembled consisted of Dave Smith, Arlene Ludwig, Marty Sklar, Randy Bright, Jack Lindquist, and Stacia Martin. Everybody who becomes a Disney legend receives a little statuette, a bronze commemorative plaque with their handprints and signatures on it, and a Disney Golden Pass, which gives them and their family full access to every Disney park. So, jumping right in, our very first Disney legend was awarded in 1987 for accomplishments in film, and his name was, I'm gonna hold him up right here over your face. He's gonna be on your face. Fred MacMurray. Billy Wilder once said, "Fred MacMurray gives people the feeling that he's kind to dogs, children, mothers, and widows." What a nice guy! Fred was personally cast by Walt Disney in Disney's first live-action film, The Shaggy Dog, which happened to be one of the biggest and most unexpected successes in Disney's film history. Fred played a leading man in more than 80 roles, and more than half of those were Disney films.
Everyone who we talk about now is going to be from the class of 1989. The next Disney legend we have is Les Clark. Les was born on November 17th, 1907, and died September 2nd, 1979. He was the first of what Disney called the 9 Old Men, which consisted of 9 men that were influential in the startup of what we know as Disney animation. He joined Disney in 1927 and worked on the origins of Mickey Mouse with Oob Eworks.
Now I'm... Oob. Oob? Hang on. I'm just gonna pull up a video of somebody talking about him.
If not. Oob Eworks?
He said,
You with me?
Ub Eworks.
Les Clark joined Disney in 1927 and worked on the origins of Mickey Mouse with Ub Eworks. Les started as a camera operator and is best known for his works on Steamboat Willie and the Skeleton Dance in Silly Symphony. He became the lead animator of Mickey Mouse after Ub left the company. He's best known for his animations in Snow White, which include the dancing scene, which is used as a template for several different animations in the rest of Disney's history. He's also known for Pinocchio, Cinderella, Alice, and Tinkerbell.
Up next is Mark Davis. So Mark Davis was inducted for animation and Imagineering, and he was known as the father to some of the most memorable women in animation history, including Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, and Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. His story drawings for Bambi are considered to be some of the finest art of animal characters ever created at the Walt Disney Studio, according to D23. He worked on Snow White, Song of the South, Cinderella, and Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yeah, it's my boy. So next up is another member of the class of '89, and I mentioned this person before, but his name is Loeppky. Ub was born on March 24th, 1901, and died on July 7th, 1971. He was responsible for creating Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which Mickey Mouse was later based off of, and the mouse himself, Mickey Mouse. Ub was considered by many to be Walt's right-hand man and his longest friend that he's had throughout his Disney process. Contrary to popular belief, Eworks is actually behind most of Disney's original animations. Without getting too controversial, Disney and Eworks did a lot of things together, but Disney tended to get the credit because he created Mickey Mouse, although it was an idea that was brought together by Eworks.
Gotcha.
He later left Disney to go and work on his own animation in other companies. He had some success, but never really quite matched the success that he had with Disney.
Up next is a big one. His name is Ollie Johnston, and he was inducted for achievements in animation. So Ollie is known for the duo of him and Frank Thomas, who I'll talk about a little bit later. The two of them were absolutely inseparable in the studio, and there's actually a documentary from 1995 written about the two of them called Frank and Ollie. He also co-authored a couple of books with him entitled Disney Animation: The Illusion of Life, Too Funny for Words, Disney's Greatest Sight Gags, Walt Disney's Bambi, The Story and the Film, and The Disney Villain. So Ollie animated characters like Baloo and Mowgli from The Jungle Book, Sir Hiss and Prince John from Robin Hood, Thumper from Bambi, Mr. Smee from Peter Pan, and the three fairies Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather from Sleeping Beauty.
Wow.
He worked as an animator and a directing animator for over 24 films, including the films Snow White, Fantasia, Song of the South, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Lady and the Tramp, and Sleeping Beauty.
Next up on our list of Disney legends is a man by the name of Milt Kahl.
I'm putting it over you this time.
Milt Kahl was born on March 22nd, 1909, and died April 19th, 1987. He is considered by most people to be one of the most influential people in Disney. So some of his most famous works include the following: Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Bambi, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh, and The Rescuers. So those are just a few of the things that he worked on. And
he was a little busy.
Yeah, he was also known for animating different sequences. He wasn't necessarily
He was a sequence director.
like in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, all the scenes with the animals. He did all the work with their animation.
Up next in the category of animation and Imagineering is Ward Kimball. So Ward Kimball joined the Disney studio in 1934. He animated characters like Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland, and Lucifer from Cinderella. He directed short films like Toot, Whistle, Punk, and Boom, which was the first CinemaScope cartoon.
Toot. Sorry, I had to.
And It's Tough to Be a Bird, which was a mixture between live action and animation. Both of these shorts that he directed won Academy Awards. And after he retired, he consulted with Walt Disney Imagineering to work on theme park projects like the World of Motion Pavilion in Epcot.
The next Disney legend we're going to talk about in the category of animation is going to be Eric Larson. Eric Larson was born on September 3rd, 1905, and died October 25th, 1988. One of his most famous contributions to Disney was starting a recruitment program for future animators for Disney. So Eric Larson, what did he do?
He was one of the main sequence animators for Sleeping Beauty.
So Eric Larson was also one of the guys who did a thing. What? What?
One of the main sequence animators.
Eric Larson was one of the things that happened.
Main sequence
animators.
Yes.
Eric Larson was one of the main sequence. Oh my god! Why can't I do this?
I don't know.
I'm really bad at this. Eric Larson. What am I doing?
Eric Larson?
Eric Larson was a guy! Eric Larson, what did he do? Main sequence, animators. Eric Larson was one of the main sequence animators for Sleeping Beauty.
Yay!
Nailed it.
We
Nailed
got
it. Finally, got it out.
Alright. Also, if you want to learn more about that, go check out my blog post, which I'll link in the bio. Up next, we have Wolfgang...
Amadeus Mozart.
No! Up next for achievements in animation was Wolfgang Reitherman. He joined the animation department in 1933. He actually left the studio during World War II to enlist in the armed forces, and after he was finished with his tour, then he returned. He worked on tons of Disney films, including Snow White, Cinderella, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, 101 Dalmatians, and The Jungle Book. And he also animated a bunch of sequences in certain films, including the whale chase scene in Pinocchio and the Philip and Maleficent battle in Sleeping Beauty. He was the first animator in the history of the company to direct an entire animated film by himself, which was Sword in the Stone. He later went on to direct The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, and Robin Hood. Fun fact also, his son Bruce ended up voicing Mowgli in The Jungle Book.
Cool.
Nepotism.
Nepotism.
No.
Hippopotamusism.
He was also credited with helping stabilize the studio after Walt died.
Next on our list is John Lounsbury. Right here. He was born on March 19th, 1911. And
It's your mom's birthday. And my dad's birthday.
I know. And died February 13th, 1976. This animator, if somebody will stop playing with their hair, just for all of you watching out there, like, every single cut away from this camera that you won't see, but she just does. You know what, people?
I can't.
I have no hair! But she loves me anyways. John Lansbury... oh my god.
Angela Lansbury!
So unfortunately, this legend had the shortest life and lived the
How do you have the shortest life but live the longest?
John was one of the... I feel like we're on a first name basis. He was the... Of the 9 old men, he lived the least... This is really bad because I'm not laughing at the fact that he's dead. I'm laughing at the fact... Actor. Okay, here we go. Of all the Disney legends we've talked about in the class of '89, this person had the shortest life and was the first of the 9 old men to die, unfortunately. He began his work in 1935 as an assistant animator for Snow White. One of the most interesting things about John Lounsbury was the fact that he took the switch from animation and started into directing in the early 70s. His first take in directing was the Disney movie Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, and was also a co-director for The Rescuers until his unfortunate death in 1976.
Lastly, for achievements in animation, we have Frank Thomas, who is the second half of the duo that I was talking about earlier with Ollie Johnston. So Frank joined the company in 1934, and he drew some of the most iconic scenes that we know from Disney movies today, including the dwarfs crying in Snow White, Bambi and Thumper learning how to ice skate, and the famous spaghetti dinner scene in Lady and the Tramp. Oh, this is the night! Sing. Frank worked on over 20 animated films for Disney, including Pinocchio, Peter Pan, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, and 101 Dalmatians. Frank went with Walt and a couple of other animators on a goodwill trip down to South America in 1941 to help inspire the films Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros. Something else interesting about Frank is that he actually played piano in a jazz band called Firehouse 5+2 with fellow Disney artists including Ward Kimball. Firehouse
Special...
Firehouse... Fire!
House?
5.
+2.
+2.
So that has been our trip through some of the first Disney legends. If you guys like what we're doing with these Disney legends, you want to know more about them, there's a bajillion of them. If you like what we're doing and you want to see more of it, Let us know down below.
Make sure that you are following my Instagram account, which is at Disney Historian Blog on Instagram. You'll get updates about what we're posting on YouTube, and also in Instagram stories, I do a little something every day called On This Day in Disney History, and it's so fun. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you will click the subscribe button and come back soon.
Let us know what you want to see. We'll put it out there.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have a magical day.
Here we go.
All right.